Hello and welcome to the session today on data, information, knowledge and wisdom. So the LOs, lesson outcomes, learning objectives, whatever we're calling them nowadays, we're going to look at the theoretical difference. What is the difference in theory between data, information, knowledge and wisdom? Then we're going to try and use data, information, knowledge and wisdom in a controlled environment. Then we're going to look at how it works in a real world environment. So we're really going to focus on that knowledge and wisdom aspect of it. But let's begin with the theory. So data, as you can see there, data is just facts and stats. It's just, as they suggest there, it's just kind of raw numbers or raw information. Can't use that word. Raw. It has no kind of relevance. No, nothing. I had porridge for breakfast. So it doesn't let you know whether it's warm or cold, as in the temperature wise, and that might be why I've had porridge. It might be that I ran out of Lucky Charms. It has no form at this point, and that's what data is. To then turn it into information, it has to have a bit of form, a bit of background, or as it says there, it's cleaned up. And you give the who, what, when, where. So, if I had porridge for breakfast, but it's in the winter time, and because it's warming and stuff like that, we're giving it a bit more depth. And that's why I've kind of tried to show it by a bit of colour there. So we're rounding it off, we're giving it a bit more, making it more useful. So knowing that there's a time of the year when I have porridge, etc. Okay, so now that's what information is. Data is just kind of raw, and it is. Information gives it that usefulness. So we look forward to knowledge then, and the key one that looks at knowledge is the how they all relate together, how they all work together, how they link together, and then how can we use them as an organization? How do we, how can we exploit the fact that I had porridge for breakfast? So if you're Tesco's, then that's quite good knowledge. If you're Volkswagen, it's pretty pointless. But you then look at the how. Oh, so was it about convenience? Was it about trying to do my bit for the wider world? So the porridge is actually more economically viable and sustainable, and is that? So that's looking at the knowledge is when we look at the how is the real question, and then when we can start to link it all together. Then that finally puts us wisdom. And that's where you really look at the bits that tie it all together, and you can extrapolate the relevant wisdom, and you can use it to take action. So you can actually then impact on this kind of thing. Nice overview there. So as we said, data is just facts and stats. Information is then when it's a bit more valuable and relevant. It's got a bit of depth to it, and both of those are kind of the past. Knowledge is an interesting one because it's about correlation application, and it bears in a little bit of the past, but a little bit of also how might we use this. Remember that how word. And then the wisdom is when we can actually use that for the insight and the action, and we can use that to help develop something. So that's the theory. Let's look at this in practice then. So what I'm going to do in the next 3 slides, I'm going to give you a company that you work for. I'm going to give you a target customer, a customer persona, and give you some relevant data, or technically it'd be information, but I'm going to give you some relevant data. And then what I want you to do is decide what you're going to market to them. So if you work for that company, taking into account who that customer is and what that relevant data is, what are you going to market to them? Okay. So you work for Thomas Cook, the travel company. This is Thomas. He's a 26-year-old UK male. So that's who your customer is. He recently bought some sunscreen, a high-performance camera. He had a haircut, some high-end whiskey, some sunglasses, and the latest, I don't know if that is the latest, Final Fantasy. Okay, so that was his recent purchase data. So pause the video and have a little work out. What do you think you would market to them? Okay, so this, once again, this is subjective. This is what I think I would market to them. So if I work for Thomas Cook and I was looking at a holiday for Thomas, I'm going to send him to see Aurora Borealis. I think that's how you say it. And my 3 things that have worked that out have been the sunscreen, the camera, and the high-end whiskey. Sunscreen, look at that, factor 50. clearly he's not a fan of the sun, so anywhere hot is not a great idea for him. The camera is, once again, a very high-end camera, so he really wants to test his photography skills. And being able to capture aurora borealis is from what I understand, one of the key kind of dreams of a lot of photographers, because you've got to get everything right. You've got to get the position, the exposure. You can't just kind of put a camera and click and away it goes, because you don't then always get the movement across the sky of it, which is what that picture there shows. And once again, the high-end luxury, it's about the luxury of the whiskey. It would be a real package tour that you're selling, Thomas, there, that kind of takes in a cruise and some dining experiences and things like that. And that was what I got to. But once again, interested to see what you got to and how it differs. So here we go, another one. You work for Tesco. This is Michael, 32-year-old male, UK male. And in the last 6 weeks, he bought more toilet rolls than he normally does. He bought more dairy products than he normally does. He bought more vegetables and fruit than he normally does. He bought less chocolate than he normally does. He bought less alcohol than he normally does. But his carbohydrates, that's what the bagels are showing, his carbohydrate purchases had gone up as well. So, same again. Pause the video and have a little think, what would you, if you're Tesco, what do you think you're going to be selling him in the next few months? Okay, what I thought was nappies. Reason being, 32 at 33.3 years old, according to the ONS, National Office of National Statistics, that's when UK males become a dad for the first time at 33.4. So at 32 is when he's making the baby. Once again, toilet rolls consumption's got up because his partner needs to pee more because of the bladder. The dairy increase and the carbohydrate increase. Once again, the body is just naturally needing these things to help facilitate the arrival of the child. Sometimes, especially with the dairy, sometimes they'll notice that they're having more dairy before people will even know that they're pregnant. So that might be why. And then once again, the alcohol consumption, and that's more not to do with they're not drinking because of the upcoming child and they don't know the effects of alcohol. I say they might not know they're pregnant yet. It's actually more of, once again, when somebody becomes pregnant, so I've been told, their taste buds change, and therefore the strong alcohol taste might not agree with them at that time. So once again, this is just my thoughts of what I would buy. Try to put in a little curveball then as well, with it being a male. Remember, it's a household shop, so that's why that's another area that we needed to look at, I suppose. Okay, finally, you work for Louis Vuitton. Your customer is Wendy, a 50-year-old UK female. And over the last 6 months, the price of a Big Mac has risen. The hemline of women's fashion skirt over the last 2 years has gone higher. So the price hasn't risen, then hemline's actually gone higher. So it maybe started off mid shin or something, and it's now up more near a miniskirt. The sales of flat shoes has increased over the last 6 months, where although sales of lipstick has decreased over the last 6 to 8 months. The number of first dates has actually gone down over the last 6 months. That's what that picture is meant to show there. That couple on a first date, says on his card. And popcorn sales have gone down over the last 6 months. So that's the market data. You've got to work out what do you think is relevant and how you're going to interact and how you're going to act on that information. Once again, pause the video and I'll give you my thoughts in a minute. Okay, I thought that it kind of doesn't matter what it is as long as it's expensive. And they are all market indicator. I'll start with the age. 40, oh, let me get this right. 45 to 56-year-old females have once again, according to the ONS, the Office of National Statistics, have the highest disposable income of any age demographic and gender demographic. So she's at that age where she has a very high disposable income, so something expensive. Then all the things on the right-hand side are indicators of how good your economy is doing. So if the price of a Big Mac is higher than a different country, even when you take into consideration in exchange rates, that is an indication that your economy is doing well. It's called Big Maconomics. Um, Same again with hemlines. The higher the hemline, the more healthy the economy is. So when it's when the money's doing well, people are willing to show a bit more leg apparently. The flats is actually it's called the high heel index, and it's the reverse. If sales of high heels are up, it means the economy is not doing well because the idea is that what was it? It's kind of a people want to feel good, so they're more likely to wear their high heels. Conversely, same with lipstick. If lipstick sales are on the increase, it's usually an indication that the economy is not doing well because predominantly ladies, want to feel good, so they will spend more on little luxuries because they can't go abroad maybe that year, so they'll buy a few more lipsticks. Same as well, again, interestingly, there's a big correlation of the first date index. So when the economy is doing bad, more people go on first dates because they're looking for love, they're looking for that security, they're looking to feel part of something, and they're not getting that from the economy. Thank God the 80s are over. And then same once again with popcorn. So when popcorn's doing well, it usually means that the economy is doing badly because we're all going to the cinema for escapism. We don't like how dire and terrible the world is. So we want to go see Vin Diesel drive around some cars very fast, whichever Fast and Furious is on at that time or whatever. But all those are actually market indexes, those 6 things. I know they sound silly, and that's exactly why I use them. So if you work for Louis Vuitton and all those things have happened, whack up your price. It's time to party. Okay, that's it in practice. Very controlled environment, that. Let's have a look in real life. So what's going to happen now is your tutor is going to hand you out this piece of paper. So please fill it in. Can't read it too well there. So it's just got 9 questions and a task for you to do. So it just wants you to ask you, what is your favourite meal when you're dining out? What is your favourite meal to cook for yourself? Or if you're ordering a takeaway, what takeaway would you have? They're the first 3 questions. Which celebrity do you have a crush on? What's your favourite colour? If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be? What phone do you have right now? Okay, so what is the brand and make model of your phone? What brand are you loyal to? I have a theory that we're all loyal to a brand. So which one is it? It might be something to do with food, it might be makeup, might be shampoo, might be mobile phones, whatever. Okay, so what brand are you loyal to? This is only a small box, so hopefully if you need a big box, you can write a bit more later on. So what pets do you have and what are they called? So for me, obviously, some people know, I have a dog called Bentley, and it is useful to indicate, did you name them or not? Because once again, if you didn't name the pet, then it's it's not a fair reflection of you. And then in that box provided, wherever you want in that box, can you draw a pig, please? Okay, so you got, let's say, 10 minutes to answer those 10 questions. So it's probably going to be a minute to do the first 9 and then 9 minutes to draw the pig. So we can collect some data on you. Okay, now what's going to happen is the tutor, whoever it is, I don't think that's me, is going to go around and going to collect everybody's sheet in and then hand you back someone else's sheet. Now, because of the current restrictions on COVID, please don't touch the sheet. The tutor's going to put it on the table for you. Take a picture of it, and then we'll take it away and disinfect it and burn it, and then burn whatever we burnt it in. I don't know what we have to do with that paper. But yeah, don't you touch the paper, please. We will. You can take a picture so you can see all the data on there. Okay, so now you have the data of somebody in your class. Hopefully you don't know who it is. Then what you're going to do is, now you're going to fill out this form. So look around your class. Who do you think filled that out? And don't try and do it by handwriting analysis or who's using a certain coloured pen or whatever. Try and kind of look at the data and work out who it is. And then answer these 9 questions about them. So looking at all that data, where would you send them on holiday? What shoes do you think they would wear? So don't look at what the shoes they are wearing now. What do you think they would wear? So we talked a lot about the food industry. What restaurant do you think they would like? When lockdown's over, and after we've all gone and seen Bill and Ted, obviously, because that's the next great movie to be out, what movies should they go see? Maybe not by a movie, might just be the genre, should it comedy, action, rom-com, whatever. Here's an interesting one I was like, what hairstyle do you think they should try? So once again, don't look at what they've got now. Try and look at their data and think, what hairstyle do you think might suit them? Most of you are going to graduate in, or let's be positive here, all of you are going to graduate and you're going to go out there and get kick-ass jobs. So what car should you look into buying? What car do you think best reflects their personality from what you've seen? They should look to rent. Should they get a flat? Should they get a house? Should it be a semi-detached house in the suburbs? Should it be a flat in the city centre? So kind of that's more where should they live, I suppose. But what should they look to rent? This next one, what Netflix series do you think, if you were Amazon or Netflix or Prime or whoever, that's Amazon, isn't it? Disney Plus or Disney Premiere or whatever the latest one is, and you've got all that information on them, what series would you recommend them? So you've got all that information. So what are you going to recommend to them, looking at all that data that you've got on them? And then finally, another question is, what gym workout should they try? So, should it be free weight? Should it be a yoga class? Should it be a calisthenics, etc.? So I want you one state who you think this customer is, who the person is, from all the data you've got, and then try and suggest some products, or some products and services. But before we do that, some of the questions on there were a bit out there. So let's try and make some of them into a bit more information based rather than just database. This was got from BuzzFeed, so it must be true. So apparently this is what your favorite color says about you. For a start, I'm a big advocate that there's only 6 colors. Okay, so you got red, yellow, and blue, which are your primary colors, and then you got orange, green, and purple, your tertiary ones. So anyone that said different, you should chuck them out as not knowing what a color is. But let's go along. So apparently, if you're red, you're strong, ambitious, and outgoing. So look, what favorite color did they say they had? If orange is their favorite color, they're happy-go-lucky, playful, popular. Then again, if yellow is their favorite color, they're positive, friendly, or adventurous. If green's their favorite color, they're gentle, sincere, and passionate. Notice how these are all kind of positive sounding words. It doesn't say you're a right pain in the butt, does it? But anyway, as I said, it's BuzzFeed, must be accurate. If they're blue, they're calm, sensitive, and patient. Very NHS, that. Is that why blue's the logo for the NHS? If they're purple, they're passionate, artistic, and fashionable. Okay, that's your primary colours. Let's go on to the shades then. So apparently if they're black was their favourite colour, they're cynical, mysterious, and intelligent. The next one's meant to be grey. If grey was their favourite colour, they're withdrawn, introverted, and an idealist. The other one to that is white. So white apparently is calm, peacemaker, and authoritarian. So they've got an authoritative voice. And then the 2 rogue colours, which is pink, which is just a light red really. But anyway, that's loving, caring, and affectionate. And then my favourite one at the bottom there is meant to be brown. Brown is kind, strong-willed, and imaginative. I would disagree with that. If you chose brown as your favourite colour, I wouldn't exactly say imagination is your strong point. But anyway, that gives you a bit more information. So you've got the data of their favourite colour. Now we've got a bit of information. And will this help you to then work out where they should go on holiday, or what kind of gym workout they should do? Finally, Zale, I hope you're guessing about it. Why did he ask us to draw a pig? There we go. Apparently, drawing a pig is actually quite an infamous personality test. So I'll let you read through that once again. Pause the video, read through that, and then take your data. So you can turn the data of the pig that they drew you into the information of, are they a good listener? Are they good in bed? Are they realistic? Are they impulsive and willing to take risks, etc.? All that's covered in there somewhere. Okay, so I suggest you pause the slide there so you can go through the different elements of the pig. Make sure you fill out the information, the sheet. So you've got a picture of somebody, or you've got a picture of somebody's data on your phone, and you're going to try and turn that data into wisdom. So we looked at the colours and things like that to turn it into information. We correlated it all together, and how it might work. So if their favourite colour is white and they're a bit introverted, but they are a good listener, does that indicate then what they might watch on Netflix? So that's the knowledge side. So the wisdom is, this is the series I think they should watch. Okay, let's see if you're true then. What we're going to do, there we go, back in my classroom, all nice and socially distant. So the first person is going to read out their sheet. So obviously once they read out they're going to read out all the data that they had. And then they'll say the name, then we'll see if they're right or not. So this person had that young lady there. And then, they can read out, oh, this is where I think she should go on holiday. This is the haircut she should have. These are the shoes she should wear. And she can let us know, or he can let us know if they agree. So that'll then give you a nice simple score out of 10, because there was 10 questions to answer. Let's be honest, give it your best shot. And at the end, so, they got 7 out of 10, so well done to that person. But at the end, that person did the best score. So their analysis of somebody else was due. So we'll see who is the most wise of you guys as a group. Okay, so who can take the data, turn it into information, act on it to create it into knowledge, and then develop that knowledge into wisdom, which is what I've just said there.